Okay, at least we know there's some action going on here up top. Oh shit, look at Jim. In Elden Ring, are you looking forward to knocking players out of the air who try to jump? Yeah, I'm sure we will get to see that. What I'm hoping for is that more weapons have, like, you know, attacks like this that pushes people like further. Oh my god, I need to pay attention here. I'm here like demonstrating something and it's almost costing me here. Oof, that's just bad timing. Okay, we'd like to focus on the mage first though. My teammate is doing well against this guy. Okay, this is our chance. Or not. Well, I needed to dodge that. Because that's gonna knock me out of the gun deer. They're too close to each other, like we want to separate the gank a little. He ain't nowhere to be found when we need him. There's teammate. This guy doesn't want to commit to rolling. Like that. Saw that. They're staying so close to each other, it's actually very dangerous to even attempt of attacking them. Especially because of that, like one crystal soul spear into the great hammer or one or the other. That's just a recipe for disaster. Like I could BS that or get blended, it's like one or the other. There you go, that's what I was looking for though. Catching the mage was our priority because he's the most dangerous. Because he can get you blended from... That's free. So take that. Story of gankers getting outplayed and getting saved. That's unintentional. Amazing hitbox. Nice range. Phantom has returned home. Amazing. Good there. Bunny humping looks odd in your opinion? Yeah, I agree there, but see, like, again, like I look at this jump and I'm like, yeah, it's not very aesthetically pleasing or whatever, but when you pay attention to these things, you look at this jump, you're like, oh, if you understand how Dark Souls 3 work, like, why Dark Souls 3 feels so smooth, or Dark Souls games in general. Why these games feel so nice, and like people claim that the combat is so tight and so like it feels good to like the melee in the combat feels great in these games. It's because any input you do, like it's instantly registered as an action, like in the game. Let me explain that. It's a poor way to describe it, but okay. So my character is forward here, right? Like here in a split second, I'm gonna press back on the stick, and my character is gonna turn. See there, my character is considered facing like facing toward the camera here. The moment I input it facing toward the camera, the animation afterward is then added for smoothness. You see what I'm saying? So, which means that everything you do is extremely responsive. Let me give you a counter example to that. If you've played Red Dead Redemption 2, for instance, especially the story, you'll have your character sort of like dragging behind, like it's gonna do an action, then it's gonna kind of like chain in animations together so that it looks very cinematic and smooth. Games have different ways to go about this. But most of the time, it's very hard to make something look smooth and realistic if the controls are extremely tight. So here, going back to the topic of the jump that we saw in the leak, what this tells me when I look at this jump is that they kept this tightness. And I mean, we kind of knew it was going to be carry over because the framework is basically the Dark Souls 3 framework. From what we saw in Elden Ring, like we kind of knew that it would be like that. But again, I'm looking at this jump and I'm like, yep, this jump is extremely, shit, I forgot the word. God damn it. It's very responsive, there you go, sorry. I don't know why, like every time I'm focusing on an invasion, I can't speak anymore. I cannot multitask, guys, I'm sorry. As soon as the host dies, I know what I was about to say. Amazing. But yeah, if we look at that jump, it looks very responsive. If you guys have the leak in front of you, you'll see what I mean. So like, even though it does not look as aesthetically pleasing, or it might look goofy, if you look at this, you can tell that the guy presses jump and the character jumps right away, which is why it's not realistic. When you... like, if you jump in real life, you know, you have to crouch down, and, well, you don't necessarily need to crouch down, but if you want to... Actually, you do crouch down a little bit. You can't, like, just stand normal like that and just start jumping. You're going to need to bend your knees to jump, right? And that bending the knees is the time it takes to, like, start a jump in real life, right? But in a video game like this, you need to sacrifice that bending the knee part. Otherwise, it's not going to be responsive. So you need to remove that bending the knee part out of the animation, because otherwise, you know, it's not going to be responsive. Like when you press jump, your character is going to start bending and then jumping, right? So because of that, if they want it to look realistic, they have to sacrifice something out of it. They need to have an animation that takes longer for the jump to respond. And that's not what they did there. They made it look a bit slightly goofier, but it's instant. And it looks like a bunny jump, like someone says. So you need to consider all these things when you look at this and say, did they make the right decision with all things considered? I say yes. Okay, let's cast here. We got enough distance here. Amazing seed. Really think I'm running away from you, fool? Shit-net. Shit-net times 2? Holy shit. Shit-net times 3. Careful, there's a guy behind. Surprise he yeah, this guy has shit-net. Careful. Oof. Shit. Bad fight, honestly. I love how this guy started seeding when I just got a bit of distance after he tried to kill me on spawn. Like, this dude thought I was gonna run away into the level. That's funny. Shit like this proves Elden Ring would be way better than with a pink filter. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we agree. That's what's always been missing in these games. Like, FromSoft have always made the right decision as far as, you know, these sort of compromise, like the jump being a responsive, stuff like that. That from software has always been very keen on the on those things. It really had a keen eye for these sort of decisions. What they need is to put a bit more manpower behind some of the technical aspect there. And I mean, these things we're asking, you know, pink filter, whatever. Like, these things don't come for free. Like, you don't just switch a flip and it happens. Like, they need to implement it at the end of the day. It's not, although to be fair, it's not the most sophisticated thing to implement, but I made a vid about this a while back where, like, everything, like, when you add something, there's always a drawback or a con. And the drawback of adding a pink filter is that you're gonna segment the player base even further. And let's be honest here, in games like these with so many goddamn levels, so many different brackets, these games, the Souls game, already segment their player base like crazy, like way too much. So if they add a pink filter, they would need to address this issue to not segment the player base even further. So even though it might be like somewhat easy to add a pink filter to the game, it would introduce another problem, and that other problem would also need fixing. So they would need to make a way to group players that are playing online together more, whether it's by reducing the number of levels that your character is able to level up. Like, there's different ways to go about this, but again, like, this takes some work. Like, they need to figure things out. It's not free. I thought he would just charge in at me. Actually, let's do that too. Let's do, let's heal up a little bit here, and this host is gonna die like quickly. Yeah. Kinda had a feeling there.